Most gaming takes are better left unsaid. So obviously, I said all of them. I sat down with farzamplays, one of TikTok's biggest gaming creators, and gave him some of the most controversial gaming takes that I could find, and told him that there was only one rule. Is it a good take or a bad take? I hope you enjoy. Physical games are already dead. People just don't want to admit it.
I mean, sure, right? You look at the numbers, it's like what, 80, 90% digital? They're dead. Like people aren't buying them, but that doesn't mean it's not important.
True.
I think it's still good to have the option, right? In my opinion. And I mean, honestly, like you can kind of tell that a lot of these companies like wanted it to be digital only for their own good.
Mhm.
Because it's very easy for them to do a limited edition release of the disc, right? They can just be like, oh, here, we're going to do 10,000 physical discs because that's how many people buy. And that'll be that 10% of people that buy physical discs. They can go on our website, buy the physical. They can do that. Like these companies have so much money, they could do that and it wouldn't cost them anything, right?
True.
Or it would cost them a little bit, but it really wouldn't affect them all that much. But they just want to get rid of physical completely. For them, it's not that people aren't buying it. People are buying it. They're not a lot, but they're buying it. So if they really want to get out of their way to make physical, they could. The same way they make collector's editions, right? If you're making a collector's edition, you're not making like a million of them. You're making them, 1,000, 2,000. You could even do a pre-order system where people can pre-order it, then you can make the disc yourself later. So it just really just sounds like an excuse for them to get rid of it so they can get the benefits of not having to have this secondhand market, not having to have people preserve their discs. It's a bit of a shitty thing to do, in my opinion.
I do agree on that, especially like what you're saying about secondhand market. A lot of people are bringing up a point of like, well, all of my gaming is based on I trade games with my friends and stuff. It's like, that's
Hmm.
nice for you and for your friends, but on a
Yeah.
corporation side, they don't make a dollar from that. So I think like that's one of the things that they want to really get rid of is like, if you're reselling it, that's money that we're not making. So to them, it's bad news.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain type of gamer that just doesn't care about having the game right away, right? For example, I'm the type of gamer that needs the game on the day of lunch because it's kind of like my job, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Job. But a lot of my friends who still game, they don't care about that. So if I get a, for example, most recently, I had a physical copy of 007 First Light. I bought it myself. I went to the store. I got a copy. But I also happened to have a digital copy that I got from the studio. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, I don't really need the physical copy right now.
Mhm.
Gave it to my friend. He played it for a little bit. He didn't even finish the game. He's like, yeah, I didn't like it, right? So he didn't have to buy the game. And now he's giving it to my other friend. And then my other friend, once he finishes it, he's going to give it to my other friend. So we're like four people passing around games, right?
Yeah,
So I get that from the studio's POV. That's like, okay, that's 3 lost sales. And it's like, okay, but in my opinion, those 3 people would have never bought the game anyways.
true.
But now they get to play the game because I'm able to pass it around. So I feel like in a way, they're not even really thinking about it from in a long-term POV. Like you're a kid, right? You're a 12-year-old kid. Your parents can't really afford to get you a brand new game. Games cost a stupid amount of money now. I'm on the Nintendo store, and every game is like $120 after taxes.
My God.
Canadian, obviously.
Yeah.
But if I'm a kid and I see something for like $30 and my parents buy me the disc for $30, then now I'm part of that fan base. I'm interested in the, let's say, Mario franchise because my parents got to get it for me for $30. They're gonna lose a lot of those people who grew up playing games. I grew up playing games like that, right?
Mhm.
My parents would give me secondhand, and then when I sold my Xbox 360 to get an Xbox One back in the day, another group of kids got to become Xbox fans and fans of whatever games that I gave them. So I feel like they're losing a lot of their market that maybe they're not realizing. Maybe it's a bit of a short-sighted decision, right? But again, it is selfish at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they're like, okay, well, we do this, our year-over-year revenue is going to increase by however much.
And you're right, and I've thought about things like that too as well, where it's like, especially, your example exactly, where it's like when you are a kid, a lot of games that you buy are like used games. You go to the store, you go to the EB Games, I mean, which there barely are EB Games anymore, and you buy a game for 20 bucks, and it's like that's your game for the next 6 months kind of thing. And now you're not going to have that. So it does seem a little bit like that is a lot of people who are going to be basically eliminated from being gamers or from being able to be in the hobby at all, essentially. But again, yeah, it's almost like do they does that at the end of the day when they look at the numbers, does that matter? Especially because they don't, that $20 isn't going to, sure, it might be bringing somebody new into the ecosystem, but I think it's like to them, they're like, well, if you're somebody who only buys used games, what do we care?
Yeah,
right?
but again, I guess they save costs on production too.
True.
And the thing is, like at the end of the day, they have to bring these discs to Best Buy or
Hmm.
Walmart or whatever, and they're getting a cut out of it too. And I'm sure they don't like that aspect of it. But again, if they really like wanted to do something about it, they could. They could be like, all right, we'll only sell it on our website digitally, but you'd still get the physical disc. Like you can just order it online.
Hmm.
That's a solution to me. But it really seems like on their end, they gave zero thought about it. They didn't try whatsoever.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's just like a complete shutdown of like we're done.
Yeah.
No
They're like,
options,
we're done. We're
whatever.
not gonna try. We don't really care.
Yeah, exactly. But and that should kind of show that like the money from it, like when you just look plain facts numbers, it's like it's such a small amount to them that they're like, why bother?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. But that's the thing. Like it's not a the consumer was not any part of the decision making.
Yeah,
This is a purely a selfish thing.
100%
Which
right.
again, that's all corporations. It's Steam as
Yeah.
well. People love to talk about how Steam is the greatest place ever on the internet. Right?
Yep.
It's like, yeah, sure, Steam is awesome. You just happen to be lucky to have a decent CEO right now. Once Gabe is out the door, whoever's next,
Oh my god, dude.
you don't want to know the level of greed that these people are going to be capable of with Steam. The level of power that Steam has. It's
Yep.
monopoly, right? But hey, you say that on the internet and they will crucify you
Oh
because
my,
Steam
yeah.
is like the greatest thing ever on the internet. But
Yeah. Yeah.
which it is. Steam is great. Steam is
Absolutely.
lovely. I love Steam, but it
Until
has too
one
much
day
power. The same
it's
way that
not.
PlayStation has too much power in the console generation, in the console market, and they can do whatever they want. And one day they'll decide to do something stupid, and the consumer at that point will have zero ability to change anything about it because they have zero power.
True. 100%. Xbox should stop making consoles.
I disagree. I think
Oh,
Xbox should keep making consoles.
okay.
Even though, I mean, no, I think I have a lot of opinions about Xbox, obviously, but I'm a fan of the Xbox brand. Like I told you, like I had the 360, I had the Xbox One. After the Xbox One, I bought the Series X. Like I didn't even switch to PlayStation 5 right away. Eventually, I did get a PS5, and I'm mostly a PC gamer now. Like I pretty much only ever play on PC, but only go on my Nintendo Switch 2 or on my PS5 for exclusives.
Mhm.
So those are the only times when I go on console. Problem with Xbox is that there are none, right? There's no console exclusive.
Exactly.
Even with their upcoming games that are Xbox exclusives, they're still coming on PC. So it's a bit of a weird situation where I fully understand why they're doing the PC thing. At the end of the day, Microsoft right now is much more of a game publisher than they are a console manufacturer. But to be honest with you, you need that competition. It's for me, the way I think about it is less like, oh, is this a good business decision for Microsoft? Probably not. It's more so like, again, like as consumers, you want to have as much ability to have options in the market as possible. If Xbox were to stop making consoles, we'd be stuck with PlayStation and Nintendo. And Nintendo and PlayStation are barely in the same market anymore.
True.
So it would really just be PlayStation. They'd
True.
be the only player in the game. I'm not buying the Steam machine. It's too
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really it doesn't run all the games that I want it to run. So yeah, Xbox is a cool brand. I think there's a lot of potential there. Even if you want to think about it from a business POV, Xbox has a lot of potential. They haven't been able to live up to that potential. I think they made a lot of very deadly mistakes in the past
Some of
decade
the
and a half.
worst mistakes, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it doesn't mean they can fix it. And I feel like Asha Sharma is doing a pretty good job at like at least getting the ball rolling on that, right? It's not going to be an immediate fix, but a lot of the decisions they've made, although hard, uh, I think it's them moving towards the right direction.
So would you say, as somebody like me and like both of us, where we're primarily PC gamers and we play exclusives on the hardware, do you feel that, for example, for Project Helix, in order for Xbox to keep you in their ecosystem, they need 100% console exclusives, as in, Gear 7 needs to be an Xbox only game, not PC. Because without that, why would somebody like you or me buy an Xbox?
No, no, you're 100% right. I think they're doing a lot to hype up the Project Helix. They sent
Mhm.
me this like when they announced
Oh,
it.
they did. Awesome. Nice.
Yeah, and it's like a console that's what, a year and a half, 2 years away. Like,
Mhm.
but they're clearly like they're excited about their console. But yeah, if they don't have an exclusive, like a console exclusive that's only on console, what would I buy it, right?
Exactly.
And I'm a guy who's, again, it's my job, right?
Mhm.
I have every console, I have every game. give me a reason to buy your console. If you're telling me that you're releasing Halo, whatever, Halo 9, or I forgot, what are we at, Halo 7?
I think it would be 7, yeah.
If you're releasing Halo 7 and it's coming out on PC, runs better than the console, because obviously I have a stupidly strong PC that I bought like 4 years ago. It runs better than your console. It has all the same features as your console. It has all the same missions. It has all the same. I get to play it at the same time.
Mhm.
Why do I need the console?
Exactly.
I already have my setup here. I get the console just to have more cables in my room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need to give me a reason to get a console, and I feel like as a guy who actually is a fan of Xbox, I mean, I have a bunch of Halo figurines behind me. There's no reason for me to get an Xbox Project Helix unless there are games on it that are only on that console.
So they've kind of put themselves in a very bad position for the future of their ecosystem because they've removed that reason. Like PlayStation got to the conclusion of like, hey, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot by releasing things both places because we're giving people less and less reason to buy our hardware. And Xbox just seems to be like, well, Xbox is Microsoft, so we can't really do that. But it's like, then you're losing me. You're losing a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I feel like going back to like the purchasing spree that they went on, right? Like that was initially their goal, I would imagine. It's like get a bunch of studios, have a bunch of exclusives,
Mhm.
have them all on our console. But then they realized, okay, we don't have that many people who own our console, so we're gonna spend all this money, like actual billions of dollars.
Crazy.
We're gonna release the product on our console. We're not gonna make the money back. And obviously, if you're Satya Nadella or like the CEO of Microsoft, you're just kind of like, yo, like you gotta make that money back.
Yeah.
We're not you're not like we're not gonna just give you money for free. You're gonna have to make that money back, and you're not making that money back. So how do you make that money back? You release it on PC, which is
Mhm.
now the biggest market for that kind of game. So that way they can make a lot of their money back. But at the same time, it's like you have Game Pass and you've
Yep.
created a consumer base that is allergic to spending money on games on release. Right?
And that's never gonna change from how much
And
they
that's never
pushed
gonna
it.
change.
Never. No.
You've trapped yourself in that
Yeah.
unless you make a big decision to change that, which I don't think they will do because it's gonna be there's gonna be an outrage if they
Mhm.
ever decide to like change that. So now their business model has been like, all right, so we're gonna have our day one on Game Pass, but technically it's not day one on Game Pass because if you buy the game or pre-order it, you get 2 weeks early access. So it's not day one on Game Pass. It's day 14 on Game
Yeah.
Pass. You've just changed the naming of it. It's weird. It's
Mhm.
really weird. It's really confusing. I'm not a fan of it, but at the same time, I understand why they do it, right? I think it's a decision they made a few years ago. Now they're kind of stuck in it,
Mhm.
and they're doing the best they can to kind of play around with it.
For sure. It just feels like also like exactly what you're saying, where it's like they made this decision and now it's gone too far to reverse it. So now there's just 15 different mixed messages that are all like at odds with each other. So it's just they've really messed things up for themselves within the past 10 years over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it sucks because you get a game like Halo Campaign Evolved, right? I mean, it's a 12-hour campaign. You finish it, you're done.
Mhm.
Like that's kind of how I treated the game. I played the game twice because I thought,
Did the
you know,
same.
I
Yep.
like Halo.
Mhm.
But any normal person would play it once and be done with it. But when you have a subscription service that depends on people being subscribed month over month over month to make your money back, if a game is $70 and subscription costs $20 a month, and you're gonna need to have someone subscribe for 3 months to make that money back, that basically means that you're way more incentivized to making games that are hundreds of hours long, have
100%.
a lot of fluff in them, have a lot of
Yep.
like BS reasons for you to just keep playing it. So a lot of games like Doom, a lot of games like Halo, uh, I don't know, any other single player campaign game, Gears of War,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Gears of War has
Yep.
multiplayer to be fair, so that's completely different. But anything that has people playing it just for the single player campaign that's no longer than 20 hours, those studios are punished for decision they didn't even really make, right?
Absolutely.
They just happen to be owned by Microsoft.
Yep.
They're just trying to make their own game. So you look at Doom: The Dark Ages, it's like, okay, well, it's not a long game. It's 15 hours long. No, less than that. It's like 10 hours long.
Yeah.
I could just get my subscription for $20, beat the game, never look back.
100%.
And that just saved me $60. Great deal. It's
Yeah,
a great deal for the
great deal
consumer.
for
It's
exactly.
terrible for the studio.
Terrible.
And they don't want to admit it. They'll never admit it because you admit that, it's a terrible look on you, right? But everyone knows it. Everyone talks about it.
I think they ended it now, but there was also a time on Game Pass where if you canceled your subscription before the month was up, they gave you money back.
Oh,
So
I
you
did
could
that shit so many
yeah, so
times. Before content, to be fair, before I was doing
Mhm.
content, Game Pass was around, like, because I started 3.5, 4 years ago. Game Pass was around for a few years before that. And I would do the thing where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay $1. It's gonna give me 3 months worth of
Yeah,
subscription. I
crazy.
play all the fucking games that I want. Then I accidentally get charged $20 because I forget that I'm subscribed.
Mhm.
Then I send a cancellation, not an email, but I just press the button, and they pay me the money back, and I still get the full month. And at that point, I'm kind of like, whoa,
Yeah, it's
how are you
practically
making money?
how are
How
you
are you
making
making
money?
money?
Yeah,
Where is this coming from? I'm not complaining though.
of
I got to
course.
play like 20 games for free during
Yep.
COVID. Had the best time of my life. You guys though, I don't know. I don't know how that works as a business.
It's like
And
at
it
that point
wasn't
they're just
working, right? The
bleeding
answer
money.
was
No,
it
it
wasn't
wasn't.
working. Otherwise, they
Exactly.
wouldn't be laying off half their studios
Yep,
and 6,000 people. So it
exactly.
wasn't working.
Even with Halo now too, it's like Halo came out and the very first thing they did is like, okay, half the people at the studio, pff, bye.
Right.
Like crazy.
For a relatively small scale game,
True.
like it's a UE5 remaster. They used Halo Reach's engine. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm not a game dev. I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything about game dev. That couldn't have been the most expensive thing ever.
I wouldn't think so. I
Yeah.
really wouldn't think so. Especially with all the outsourcing, which most of that outsourcing is overseas, which it means the cost of it is way, way, way
Yeah.
less.
I mean,
It's
that's why
like
they use Unreal Engine 5, right? I mean, that's
exactly.
the only reason they would ever use Unreal Engine 5. They have
Yep.
their own
Yeah.
in-house studio,
Yeah.
but they never touch it.
The decision making at Xbox is crazy.
I know, which sucks. But again, I think Xbox is moving towards the right direction now.
I would
Could
hope
they
so.
mess up again? Sure. I think since Asha Sharma came in, since they've had a lot of revamps, it's been a lot of good decisions back
Mhm.
to back. Again, a lot of them has been painful, but I think that's just the cost of the bad decisions that were done way before.
True. Very true. Everyone says they want innovation, but they only buy sequels.
I think that one's nuanced. I would say yes and
Hmm.
no. That one's definitely nuanced because I agree that people love their slop.
True.
Right? Even as someone who makes content, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna put myself on the same pedigree as people who make video games. Video games take 5 years to make,
Yeah.
hundreds of
If not
people.
longer. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 if not longer. But at the end of the day, it's a form of entertainment. It's content. I make content too, except my stuff takes a day to make, less than a day. So even from a content creator's POV, at the end of the day, the stuff that gets the most views, the stuff that gets the most attention and love, it's the slop. It's the stuff that's easy to consume. It's the stuff that people are familiar with,
Mhm.
not the experimental thing that they've never seen before.
True.
Same concept goes for movies, same thing goes for video games, same thing goes for books, same thing goes for TV ads. It's all very easy to predict in a way. So yeah, like I people love familiarity. They love what they already know. So if you're gonna release Spider-Man 3 from Insomniac, that's gonna sell way better than if they were to do a brand new IP that on paper, like let's just make the assumption that their brand new IP would be a better game, right?
Mhm.
Spider-Man 3 is gonna sell way better. It's a bigger IP. People are way more familiar. People like Spider-Man already.
Yep.
It's already established and it's proven that it works. I think that's a big important part. It's already proven that it works. So if I'm spending $90 on a video game, I'd rather spend $90 on a game that I know I'm gonna like ahead of time rather
True.
than experimenting with a game that I've never heard of before. So I think that's part of the reason why sequels work so well.
Mhm.
But you kind of look at the environment and you're like, okay, well, every year there's at least like 5 games that are brand new, like Expedition 33, like
Yep.
Peak, like Big Walk, like I'm trying to think of more single player examples.
Uh, well, I guess like coming up like Blood of the Dawn Walker,
Blood of the Dawn
Control
Walker.
2.
Well, I'm trying to think of like
Oh,
proven ones,
oh,
right?
proven. Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
what's
let's just say Expedition 33 or Balatro single player, right?
Mhm.
You see these games and they come out and it's like, okay, these are innovative games. These are games that do things that haven't been done before. Sekiro, for example, and they sell really well. They do gangbusters. But how many failed attempts did it take to get there?
True.
Right? Every 50,000 brand new IP, every like 100 triple A or double A game that comes out, maybe 5 of them succeed.
Mhm.
Then you have like a graveyard of 95 of them with hundreds of millions of dollars of wasted money, right? Look at Concord. Look at like Marathon. I wouldn't say it's the biggest failure ever, but it didn't make its money back. That's for
No.
sure.
No.
Uh,
Definitely not.
and I love Marathon. I have like 200. I got 150 hours in Marathon. I love that game.
It's a
But
super fun game.
people don't want to give it a shot
Yeah,
because it hasn't proven itself. Had it been Destiny 3, it would have made its money back and then some. Because
100%.
if Destiny 3 was the same quality as Marathon, Marathon's a very high quality game.
Mhm.
It would have made its money back. I think it's easy to be like, well, people like to always complain about sequels and then they never buy it. It's like, yeah, sure, yeah, it's true. Part of it is true, but at the same time, games are so expensive now. If I'm buying 5 games a year, if I'm buying 3 games a year, I'm not gonna risk my money buying something that I'm not sure I'm gonna like. I'm gonna buy the sequel that has the bigger budget, that has a proven track record from the studio, and
Mhm.
an IP that I already know I already like, right? So
True.
I kind of understand why it's the way that it is. But I don't think it's impossible to make new games that are incredible and great to make, but it's just riskier. It's just riskier.
For sure. The same way that, like, the studio needs to take a risk with a new IP, the consumer needs to take a risk with their money. Because, for
Yeah.
example, like how you're saying too, a lot of people are going to trust buying Code Veronica rather than buying, like, Pragmata, because they're like, I
Yep.
don't know what the hell Pragmata is, but I know that Resident Evil is awesome, so my money is going to Resident Evil, kind of thing. So yeah, it's like a risk from both sides, and one has to take a huge risk for it to pay off, and then the people have to enjoy what they took a risk on, or else it's like, yeah, like, nobody's gonna buy their game.
Yeah. And I've heard the argument where people say that, okay, bigger companies should take more risks on making smaller new IPs, such as Pragmata, right?
Mm.
Pragmata, as much of a small game as it is, it took like years and years and years to make. I think that's something that people don't realize. But when you look at studios, you look at a studio like Rockstar, for example, right? They have so much money. They could have been making like small experimental games here and there
Mhm.
throughout the past 10 years. But you got to think that that kind of ruins their reputation as the people who only make bangers. Same thing
Very
for
true.
Capcom. Capcom, in my opinion, with the money that they have, with the people that they have, they should be making a small 6 to 12-hour game that costs less just to experiment
Mhm.
and perhaps turn into a new IP. But at the same time, Capcom has this reputation now where every game's kind of a banger. Every game's high quality. Everything's triple A.
Yep.
So it's a bit harder for them to do that. Again, it's way easier said than done, right? It's way easier said than done. I think Sony is doing a great job of being able to like fund other studios as opposed to being like, all right, we're gonna have our studio do this thing. They fund other studios take the risks for them. So maybe that's something that could be an answer to this problem. I know Xbox does that too with Game Pass a lot, where they fund a lot of indie games, a lot of double A games
Mhm.
that end up being day one on Game Pass, but at the same time, it's a game that wouldn't have existed without it, right?
Mhm.
So I think to me that would be the perfect solution. That'd be the perfect world. I think EA did that for a bit. I don't think they'll ever do that
Yeah,
again.
with those, like,
But
EA Originals.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like EA Originals was an incredible idea.
Mhm.
They had some failures, but they had some mega successes, like
True.
It Takes Two, right? I think EA Originals was a wonderful idea. Again, don't think that's going to happen ever again
Probably not.
after the
Especially
after the
not the
buyout.
acquisition. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I think more studios need to do that. They take those risks. I think as much as Ubisoft loves to get hate for it, I think they're one of the fewer studios that just makes whatever the fuck, right? They make like little games here and there, but obviously on the management side, they have high expectations, so it doesn't really lead anywhere.
True.
But Prince of Persia, uh, what was it
Oh,
called?
The Lost Crown?
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is one of my favorite Metroidvanias of all time.
Really,
It,
really
it is
great game.
up there with games like Hollow Knight. Obviously, it's not quite as good,
Sure.
but if I were to make a top five, it would make my top five.
Of Metroidvanias.
So, sorry,
Of Metroidvanias, you mean?
of
Yeah,
Metroidvanias,
yeah.
yeah, not games of
No,
all
so
time.
yeah.
Like in Metroidvanias for me, it would be like Silk Song number one, Hollow Knight number two, and then number three, I'm unsure. Number four, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown,
Yeah,
right?
I would probably say too, probably, like, I'd put it number 5 or something like that, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
really good.
and I feel like that could have been a game that would turn into a franchise. You could make more Metroidvania Prince of Persias,
Oh,
but
easily.
because they were expecting Hollow Knight levels of sales, it's not gonna happen. It's
Mhm.
just not gonna happen, right? You have to have realistic expectations when you make more experimental games. It's a really good game. The sequel would have probably sold better because of that reputation of
For
being
sure.
a really good game.
They set themselves up for success and then had the wrong mentality going into it, and that's why they just gave up.
Ubisoft has such talented people, right?
Really do.
But at the end of the day, like when you put a handcuff on a bunch of talented people, it's like, well, what are they supposed to
Is
do,
it yeah.
right?
Most gamers don't know what they want until someone tells them.
It depends. It depends on what aspect of gaming, right?
True.
Because when gamers say they want physical games, I think they know exactly what they want, right? They
True.
want physical games.
Very true.
If gamers say I want another GTA game, they know exactly what they want. They want another GTA game. If they say there's not enough PvP games out there, there's probably not enough good PvP games out there.
Mhm.
But if someone's playing a game, they're like, "Ooh, the jumping animation here sucks actually." Maybe they don't know if it's the jumping animation that sucks, or maybe if it's a certain other aspect of the development of that game that sucks that has affected the jumping animation. So
Mhm.
a good way to put it is like, generally speaking, the consumer kind of knows what they want. They're not good at describing it and putting it into words.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of the problem. Same for me. Like I'm putting myself in that pool. I kind of have a gist of like what I know, what I want out of gaming in general, but I don't always have the best way of describing it. But we all kind of pay with our wallets, right?
Very true.
We want something, we kind of put our money towards it. So when people said they didn't want any more hero shooters and Concord came out, well, Sony found out the hard way. It's like, okay, that's not what people want, right?
But does you think that that is because people don't want hero shooters or because they went about it the wrong way? Like, for example, I play Deadlock. I think Deadlock is probably the best multiplayer game that, I mean, it hasn't released yet, but I think once it will releases, Deadlock is going to be massive. And that's a hero shooter. I mean, it's a MOBA hero shooter or whatever, but like, if you do take all the people who are like, fuck Concord because hero shooters are dead and this game sucks, it's like, yeah, but the genre's not dead. It's just they went about it the wrong way. Same with Expedition 33. Everybody was like, turn-based RPGs are boring and garbage and from 1990. It's like, well, not really.
I would say Expedition 33 is an exception to the rule. I
Because
wouldn't
yeah.
bring that up as an argument of like something that happens regularly.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. It's like a, 1 in a million kind of situation. But it's still something where it's like most gamers, I think, like how you're saying, where it's like they know, like, I don't want any more shooters. I want a game that's like better PvP or whatever, something like that. They took a genre that normally doesn't have like so much wide appeal. And I think they were able to present it in a way where it's like, no, guys, you actually do want something like this. You just don't realize it because it hasn't been given to you in this sort of packaging, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? Like you're saying yourself, like Deadlock it's rather unique. Like there's
True.
very few games like it, if any, right?
Mhm.
It's a MOBA hero shooter, and it has that whole it has this it has the Valve like sauce to it.
Which is, yeah, I
Whereas
mean,
you look at a game like Concord, it was like generic, right? It was as vanilla as you could get with a hero
100%.
shooter.
Mhm.
Like I played a bunch of it.
Yeah, me too. It
Uh,
was fun, just
it
not
was
great.
it was that's the thing. It wasn't a bad game
Mhm.
mechanically. It was boring. I didn't know what I was working towards.
Mhm.
I didn't know why I should have cared about the characters. It was kind of like, okay, whatever.
True, true.
It's the game. It's video game the game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
Yeah.
it was very generic.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I feel like people have it a lot of people didn't play the game, understandably enough. There was this misunderstanding that hey, Concord is a terrible game. Like it's a broken game. 0 out of 10. It
Mhm.
was an okay game. It
Mhm.
was an okay game. It was like a 7 out of 10 game, right? It was just kinda like, why do I need to play it? Plus it costs money,
Oh, yeah,
right?
which is a big
You're
mistake
really
for them
playing a
too.
hero shooter that costs $40 at a time where every other one is free.
Mhm. And better and more fun. So
Yeah, it's like they were pretending as if there was no competition when there was competition
Mhm.
that has been there for years and years and years, like Overwatch.
Yeah. Established
So
fan base, cool art style, cool characters, community
yeah,
actually likes the game, all that stuff. Yeah, and it's you're not gonna
yeah.
compete.
You're just not. You're just not. People always love to bring up Marvel Rivals, but like Marvel Rivals again, it was free. It
Mhm.
was fun. It was a one-to-one copy of Overwatch, so they
Yep.
weren't taking any risks, and they had all the IP, right? So people actually tried the game because they were like, "Oh,
Yes.
I wonder what Spider-Man is going to be like." Then they realized, "Oh, it's kind of fun."
Mhm.
Concord? Why would I if I wasn't in gaming, if I wasn't making videos about video games, why would I want to go try it? I have no incentive. It
Very true.
costs money. It doesn't have any character that I care about. It's a brand new IP. None of the marketing seemed that interesting. So it was a bit of a confusing, weird situation, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of, I mean, I don't know how that relates to people knowing what they want out of games, but I think in a general sense, again, like my answer would be people know exactly what they want out of games. They're just not the greatest at communicating it
Mhm.
and putting it into words, especially on the internet. On the internet,
Cool.
what ends up happening is just going to be like whether it's on Twitter or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, they just make a video or a comment that's them being angry, but it's them being like, I'm not happy with the current situation, but I'm not sure what the solution is. Then it's the job of the studios and the game that's to figure out what the solution is, right? But people are pretty good at being like, I'm not happy with the current
Oh,
situation, or I'm
people are
happy with the
very
current
good
situation.
at that. Yeah. People are better at saying that they're unhappy than they're happy. Is what it
Yeah,
seems
but
like.
again, like
Yeah.
it's not their job. It's not their job. Like
True.
as a guy who's at home, like I got shit on my mind. Like I don't want to go out there and like make your solution for you. You know,
Mhm.
I'm not a consultant. I'm not a professional game dev. I'm just a guy who finds entertainment out of video games. If I'm not happy with something, then it's your job to like go whatever, pay people to figure that out, right?
Very true.
So I think that's kind of the gist of it. So when people say like, "Oh, people don't know what they want," I feel like people do know what they want, but it's not their job to figure it out exactly. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Which is also
But
why, like, the other question about sequels where it's like trial and error, and then once they find that one thing, now they know, okay, we'll just give you this, but bigger and better, and then we'll do it again
yeah,
and big. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's an irony in a lot of YouTubers that are like complaining about sequels and all that. But anyone who's done YouTube or anyone who knows how YouTube works, it's kind of like YouTubers usually like try out different series, try out different formats. Once a certain format works, they milk the fuck out of
Oh
that.
my god. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, you are no different than the studio who's
It's true.
releasing Call of Duty 20, right? You're the
Yep.
same thing, except your whole thing is complaining about Call of Duty 20, but you're also just releasing sequels of whatever video that banged 10 years ago.
True. Yeah. Yeah. You're on your 100th video of the same video, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it all comes down to the same thing. That's how media works.
Yeah.
It's the same for TV shows. That's same for movies, right?
Mhm.
But it's then it's job of the studio to go and make sure that the 20th game is actually high quality. Otherwise, why would I buy it?
True. Every gamer has a game they pretend they beat.
Yes, I have that.
You do? What is it?
Let me think. Gears of War 5.
Oh, same. Didn't
I
beat it.
got to the
Yeah.
final boss. I played every Gears of War on the hardest difficulty. I beat all of them. Gears of War 5. I got to the final boss. I wasn't able to beat it. I shut it down, and then I just pretend that I beat the game. And I watched the final cutscene on YouTube.
Very nice, dude. Excellent. If a game isn't fun in the first hour, it's not worth finishing.
That's a bad take. That's a stupid take.
I agree.
But you're entitled to think that.
Sure. You'd just be wrong, but sure, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Most open world games would be better if they were half the size.
100%. 120%. Most open world games are too fucking large.
Mhm.
Make it half the size, have the activities be more fun, remove the fluff, remove 80% of the collectibles. You'll have a game that's like 30 hours shorter, but it'll be like 3 times funner.
Could not agree more on. People who skip cutscenes have mental issues.
Okay, that's a crazy one. I think that context depends on the context. If you played the game already and you want to skip it, sure. If the game's known for not having a good story, sure, you can skip it.
Like,
I
if you're
think
playing
I'm
The
not gonna
Last
get
of
mad at
Us,
someone for skipping Elden Ring cutscenes, I'll be
yeah,
honest.
okay. I mean, because
I
they're
haven't done it,
basically
but I feel like if you just wanna fight the boss and you don't really give a shit about the setup and
fair.
the cool animations, I'll think you're a little crazy, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call you mentally ill.
Well,
Uh,
depends on the
I
game.
would say a game like The Last of Us, if it's your first playthrough and you're skipping cutscenes, I don't even know if that's an option, but assuming it is, maybe you shouldn't be playing The Last of
Yeah.
Us.
Maybe you got mental issues, you know? Everyone says graphics don't matter until a game looks bad.
Ooh, that's a heavy one. I think people say graphics don't matter until their favorite game doesn't look as good. Because I think graphics don't matter, right? If you're buying an indie game with like low poly graphics, like whether that's the art style or not, it really doesn't matter as long as the gameplay is fun. But if the next Last of Us or the next Uncharted comes out and the graphics are worse than the last one, I think people will complain. And
100%.
I think part of it is like they're right to do so because again, you've set a standard. But part of it is sort of like you can't complain about graphics getting better, but also complain about the cost of games getting more
Mhm.
expensive, right? So it's like, okay, well, at a certain point, you got to agree that okay, graphics can't keep improving while the costs stay lower.
True. Yeah. It all
But
ties
again, the
together.
average consumer, everyone likes good graphics. I like good
Of course. Yeah.
graphics. I
I mean,
enjoy it, right? I also fully understand like if a game comes out and they want to have like worse graphics so that they can make it budget friendly, then I think that that's fine, right?
mhm. I agree.
I think Halo Campaign Evolved, whether it looks extremely good like it does now or it looks like the anniversary edition, I don't think either of them really improves my enjoyment of the game. I didn't play that game because of the graphics.
Mhm.
But again, that's the reason we have engines like Unreal Engine 5 because it's so much easier to make the graphics look like realistic and pretty.
True.
And the only reason that exists is because people like good graphics. right? So they see that and they go like, "Ooh, good, cool graphics."
Yeah. Yeah, if people
But
weren't so into having nice graphics, they would have stopped making graphics nicer 10 years ago.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
people love their graphics.
yeah,
You know, it sells copies.
true.
That's it's the truth.
Mm.
Why do you think most of the posts, most of, if not all of GTA's marketing has been graphics right now? We
It's
have
true.
no gameplay.
It's true.
It's all only been
Yeah,
graphics.
look how
The
pretty
graphics
this
don't matter.
looks. Look how pretty this looks. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's GTA's entire marketing right now. Obviously, it's gonna change in a month.
Mhm.
Right now, it's just graphics. It's just, look how many NPCs are in our screen, look at the hair, look at the costumes, look how pretty it looks.
Yep. Half the people calling games mid never actually played those games.
More than half.
Yeah, I would think so.
I'd say 80%, if
Yeah.
not more. I think people love to have opinions based on what their favorite, like, YouTuber likes to think, based on what the general public likes to think. But yeah, I mean, as someone who's on the internet and reads comments quite often, I think most people just like to say whatever gets them the most likes in the comment section. I think
Mhm.
at the end of the day, video games, whether single player or multiplayer, it's a social activity. You want to take part in a group, you want to take part in a community, and you want to be accepted in that community. So if the community that you're a part of thinks that Marathon, for example, is a bad game, you're not going to go play the game and say it's a bad game. You're just going to say it's a bad game.
100%. Your favorite game is only your favorite because of nostalgia.
No,
Agreed.
false.
False.
Elden Ring is a great game.
Excellent. Yeah. No, you only love it because you played it 5 years ago. Okay, that's why.
No, no, no. I replayed it 3 years ago again. It's a great game.
And that's it. We're done.
Beautiful.
We are done. So that was my time with farzamplays, and I just want to thank him again for coming out. It was a really fun time. And thanks to everybody for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe, because I got more of these coming up. Thanks again.